Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about something that honestly gives me the chills just thinking about it. Imagine you're out for a simple hike. Maybe you stayed a little too long to catch the sunset, and suddenly the familiar trail looks different. You realize you're not just lost, you're in a place that locals refuse to mention after dark. We are talking about that gut-wrenching feeling of being trapped in a haunted forest. It's a classic horror trope, sure, but when it happens in real life, the atmosphere changes in a way that's hard to describe. You can feel the weight of the air, the silence that isn't really silent, and the sense that every tree is watching you. Stick around, because this journey into the dark is going to be quite a ride.
So it starts with the atmosphere. You know that natural feeling of the woods, the birds chirping, the wind in the leaves? Well, in a place like this, that all just stops. It's like the forest itself is holding its breath. I remember walking down a path that seemed perfectly normal just 10 minutes prior, but now the shadows are stretching in ways that don't make sense. The light is fading fast, turning everything into shades of gray and deep indigo. You try to keep a smile on your face, telling yourself it's just your imagination, but the back of your neck is tingling. It's that primal instinct telling you that you've crossed a line into somewhere you don't belong. The trees here don't look like wood and bark. They look like twisted limbs reaching out to grab you.
Then comes the first sound that isn't yours. You stop walking to adjust your backpack, and you hear it, a crunch of a dry leaf just a few feet behind you. You freeze. You wait. You listen. But there's nothing but the sound of your own heart pounding in your ears. You start walking again, a little faster this time, and there it is again. Step for step, something is mimicking your pace. It's not an animal. Animals are usually loud or they hide. This is deliberate. It's like a game of cat and mouse where you are definitely not the cat. You try to call out a casual hello, thinking maybe it's another hiker, but your voice just gets swallowed by the thick mist. No echo, no response. Just that rhythmic crunch, crunch, crunch following you from the darkness.
As the night truly sets in, the forest begins to play tricks on your eyes. You see a figure standing perfectly still by a large oak tree. You point your flashlight toward it, but the beam only reveals more mist and empty space. But the moment you turn the light away, you see it again in your peripheral vision, closer this time. It's that ghostly presence people always talk about. It's not always a lady in white or a glowing orb. Sometimes it's just a patch of darkness that is darker than the night around it. You start to realize that the path you were following has completely vanished. You're spinning in circles, and every direction looks exactly the same. The panic starts to set in, but you have to keep your cool, right? If you run, you might trip, and you definitely don't want to be vulnerable on the ground here.
I've heard stories of people finding strange things in these woods, small shrines made of bones, or ribbons tied to branches that seem to lead nowhere. When you stumble upon something like that in the middle of the night, your brain goes into overdrive. Who put this here? And more importantly, are they still nearby? The saram, or scary factor, isn't just about the ghosts. It's about the unknown. The history of these woods is often soaked in old legends and tragedies. They say the trees absorb the memories of what happened beneath their branches. That's why some spots feel colder than others. You walk through a patch of air that feels like ice, even though it's a humid night. It's like walking through a wall of invisible grief. You just want to find a way out, but the forest seems to be stretching, making the exit further away with every step you take.
By now, you're probably talking to yourself just to hear a human voice. You're saying things like, "Okay, just keep heading north," or "I'll find the road soon." But the whispers start. It's not loud. It's like 1,000 voices whispering at once, just below the level of hearing. You can't make out the words, but the tone is unmistakable. It's mocking. It's like the forest is laughing at your predicament. You start seeing faces in the bark of the trees, distorted, screaming faces that seem to shift when you look directly at them. Your mind is trying to make sense of the chaos, but the supernatural elements are becoming too hard to ignore. You feel a light touch on your shoulder, but when you spin around, there's absolutely nothing there. Just the cold, oppressive darkness pressing in from all sides.
The worst part is the feeling of being trapped, even in an open space. You could run in any direction, but you know deep down that the forest won't let you go until it's done with you. This is where the legends of Hantu Hutan, or forest spirits, come from. They aren't just entities, they are the environment itself. I've spoken to people who spent a whole night lost, only to find out the next morning they were only 50 feet from the main road the entire time. How is that possible? It's like a spatial anomaly, a glitch in reality caused by the sheer spiritual energy of the place. You're walking in circles because the forest is bending your perception of space. You see your own footprints in the mud, but they're heading in the opposite direction you thought you were going. It's a total psychological breakdown.
Suddenly, you see a light in the distance, a flickering yellow glow. For a second, your heart leaps with joy. A cabin? A campfire? Another person? You start running toward it, ignoring the branches scratching at your face and the mud pulling at your shoes. But as you get closer, the light doesn't get brighter. It moves. It dances between the trees, leading you deeper and deeper into the thickest part of the woods. This is the classic will-o'-the-wisp phenomenon. It's a trap. It's a lure designed to lead the weary traveler into a swamp or off a hidden ledge. You have to stop yourself, breathe, and realize that the only way out is to trust your logic, not the help the forest is offering. The air smells like sulfur and rot now, a clear sign that you've entered the heart of the haunt. The climax of the night happens when you finally stop running and just sit down. You're exhausted, your flashlight is flickering, and you've given up. And that's when it happens. The Hantu finally reveals itself, not as a monster, but as a presence that surrounds you. You feel a heavy weight on your chest, and the whispers turn into a single clear voice saying your name. It's the most terrifying moment of your life because it's so personal. It knows you. But here's the trick. You have to stay calm. My grandmother used to say that if you're trapped by spirits, you should turn your shirt inside out or ask for permission to leave. It sounds silly until you're actually there. So you do it. You apologize for trespassing. You show respect to the spirits of the land. And suddenly, the wind changes direction. The heavy atmosphere begins to lift, just a little bit. With a final burst of energy, you see a different kind of light. Not a flicker, but the steady, pale glow of the moon reflecting off a paved surface. You run like you've never run before. You burst out of the tree line, and your feet hit the asphalt of the road. The transition is instantaneous. One moment you're in a nightmare realm, and the next you're back in the world of man. You look back at the forest, and it looks normal. Just a bunch of trees. But you know better. You can still see those glowing eyes deep in the shadows, watching you leave. You get into your car, lock the doors, and don't stop driving until you're under the bright lights of a gas station. You're safe, but you'll never look at a forest the same way again.
So, what did we learn today? Nature is beautiful, sure, but it also has a side that we don't fully understand. There are places in this world where the veil between our world and the next is thin, and if you're not careful, you might just slip through. If you ever find yourself in a haunted forest, remember, stay calm, respect the local legends, and never follow the dancing lights. It was a pretty intense story, right? I'm still shaking a little just talking about it, but that's the thrill of the unknown. It's what keeps us exploring, even if it's from the safety of our screens. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the creepy side of the woods. It's definitely made me rethink my next camping trip, that's for sure.
Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you've ever had a creepy experience in the woods, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories, unless they're too scary to read at night. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates and more spooky content like this. We have a lot more mysteries to uncover, and I don't want you to miss any of them. Stay safe out there, keep your flashlights bright, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.